he will be the pick. The Utah Jazz will select Dante Exum, number 5 overall.
With the 5th pick, the Utah Jazz select Dante Exum. The Utah Jazz select Rodney Hood from Duke University.
All right, that was last year. NBA draft is this Thursday. Walt Perrin, Jazz VP of Player Personnel, joining us now, getting ready for a big day on Thursday, aren't you?
No, just every other day.
Yeah,
It's
nothing special.
Office, right?
Nothing
Way to play
special.
it cool.
Well, before we look at the draft and some of these players that might be available at number 12, I want to take a look back to the last 2 years. You've had 2 gems in the first round, Rudy Gobert via trade and Rodney Hood fell to you guys. Can you give us a little insight on how players like that are so talented ended up slipping to you guys and you guys hit home runs on them?
Well, a lot of times when their agents allow them to go out for workouts, they slot them into a certain range, so they may only allow teams in that range to work them out. And sometimes when players aren't drafted in that range, the teams behind them in the range have not worked them out, don't know them as well, haven't had hands-on experience with them, and they don't know them, so it will slide. They've kind of focused in on some other players at that particular spot in the draft. And the teams don't know the players who are starting to slide, and sometimes it becomes a slippery slope for some of these players.
Well, Hood was a player you guys didn't work out, so you guys showed a lot of trust in that situation.
Again, his agent didn't think he would be there when we picked, so we weren't allowed to bring him in. So, you know, he started to slide, which we were thankful for. We started looking at Rodney at probably about 4 or 5 picks before we were making our picks, thinking that, hey, there's a possibility Rodney Hood might be there when we make our selection, so let's start talking about him.
Well, let's start talking about the prospective players in this year's draft, starting with the wings. You brought in around over 100 players for the workouts the last month. That's a lot.
I agree.
Yeah. You had a lot of studying to do. Let's begin with the wing players. Kansas's Kelly Oubre worked out last Sunday, and we found out that he is not lacking when it comes to the confidence category.
I'm a good defender, so great defender, actually. You know what I mean? So I'm pretty confident in my game. That I can stack up with the best. I potentially can be one of the best in this league one day, you know, through hard work. Whoever calls my name on draft night, I'm going to help them win a championship and give them the best shot.
All right, what do you think about that confidence level with the guy?
I love the confidence. Now we have to see if he can back that up. You know, that's saying an awful lot to be one of the better players in this league.
Now, he's a freshman, 6'7", 9 points, 5 boards a game. Didn't take a lot of threes, but shot the long ball in nearly a 36% clip. So, and a lot of mock drafts say he's going to be right there where you guys are going to take at number 12.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. We think he could be somewhere in the range, but we don't know for sure. There's a couple teams ahead of us that kind of like him also. So we'll do our due diligence and see if he's going to be there or not.
All right, let's take a look at Stanley Johnson out of Arizona, a player that did not come in here for a workout.
Correct.
You didn't get a chance like Rodney Hood last year. What do you think of his game, just a freshman? We saw him a lot at Arizona in some of those battles with Utah.
Well, Stanley's got a NBA body already. He's built, he's strong, he's physical, he's got good athleticism. He shot, I think, about 37%, I think it was, somewhere around there from the 3. He still needs to improve his outside shooting, but as you can see on these clips, that he can take it to the basket, he can finish around the basket, and I think he could be one of the better defenders coming out of this draft.
Let's take a look at another wing that had a great postseason last year, Sam Decker out of Wisconsin. He did come in for a workout, your final workout. What are your thoughts on him? More experienced player, but also he dealt with some inconsistency during his career.
Well, Sam had a great year, I think. He had a really good tournament.
Yeah.
He struggled early only because he had a sprained ankle and he wasn't 100%. Around December, January, he became healthier, and he started to play better. So he had a very good tournament. He's a guy who can take the ball to the basket. He can finish with a dunk, finish around the basket. He's a clutch shooter. Hit some really big shots during the tournament to get them into the finals. He's a good all-around player. So he's another one that could possibly be there when we make our selection.
Now, this next guy's been getting a lot of talk. Kentucky's Devin Booker didn't come into town for a workout. 6'6" is another freshman from Kentucky. 10 points, 2 rebounds, 41% from three, Bill. Now, he's all over the map in the mock drafts. Could go in the top 10, 15, 18. So how do you judge a guy like that, and why didn't you bring a guy like him into for a workout?
Again, I've talked with his agent. His agent didn't think he would be there when we made our selection at 12. He didn't think he would be there at 12. So, again, he's one that could very easily go ahead of us. There's some teams that are in the 7, 8, 9 range that really need shooters. So he could go in that area.
I've heard Klay Thompson as a comp. Is that something pretty close? Obviously, to have a lot of work to get there.
I think they mentioned Klay only because both of them can shoot the ball. Klay is longer, more athletic, better defender, probably can put the ball on the floor a little bit better.
Now, we'll take a look at a couple local guys now. And DeLon Wright, not in your range at number 12, but a player that's definitely going to go in the first round. We've seen a lot of them. What are your thoughts on DeLon's game, and how does it translate to the next level?
Well, the thing about DeLon is he's a coach on the floor. He really knows how to run a team. He knows how to make the correct pass at the correct time. His game is going to translate on to our game because he's good with the pick and rolls. He's able to get around the corner, get to the basket, or he's able to pass it to the big man who's rolling to the basket. He's an excellent passer. He's also an excellent defender. So he will be able to play in our league, and I think he's going to have a good, long career in our league. Again, of course, he needs to work on his shooting, but that will come in time.
You also brought in BYU's Tyler Haws, worked out for you guys. He signed with a team from Spain, but he still has an out where he might be able to join a summer league team. Is that right?
As far as I know, I don't know. I haven't seen the contract he's had with the team in Spain, so I would think he has an NBA out, yes. Okay,
so he's not projected to be drafted, so why bring a guy like Tyler in? You know what kind of player he is and what kind of determination he has.
Well, as we've talked about, we need some shooting, so we wanted to bring him in, take a look at him in our special drill that we run during our workouts. We also like to give some love to the local players. We also brought in Skylar Halford.
Yeah.
We've brought in another player, Terrence Drisden, whose brother played at the University of Baczynski. So we try to bring in the players from local universities.
A lot of BYU fans will wonder because they've watched him play for so long. We've seen him since he was at Lone Peak at 15 years of age. What is it about him that makes him such a fringe player? What are some of the things that he's lacking in his game that cause him not to be a draftable player?
Well, for his position, he might be a little bit small. He's not long for his position. Again, he's going to have to learn how to play a little bit better defense. He's more of he moves well with the ball. He's going to have to increase his range. He's not a bad three-point shooter, but on our level, he's got to become better.
All right, let's start with Willie Cauley-Stein, 7-footer, was expected to go in the top 5, but, there's been some talk or rumors that he could slip down a little further, Walt. Do you see any chance that he could be there at number 12? You didn't bring him
smiling. He's hoping.
Every time this time of year, we look at worst-case scenarios, and there is a scenario where Willie Cauley-Stein could be there at 12. And it's not a worst-case scenario.
Sure.
Because he is a very talented player.
If that's the case, is that one where it's a no-brainer, you take him?
I can't say that just yet.
Okay, all right. But we can, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Gotcha.
Yeah, Miles Turner, 7-footer. We'll move on to the freshman out of Texas. I looked at him. I asked you this question when I was there. I was like, I looked at him, and he's all 7 feet.
Yes.
Physically, he is so impressive as just an 18, 19-year-old kid. What are some of the limitations he has in his game that differentiate him from a Karl Anthony Towns?
Well, besides physically being such a top-notch kid, he's a great kid. I mean, his interview was super. So, very smart kid. The things that you have to be concerned a little bit with Miles is he didn't play a lot of minutes. He is a freshman. He came off the bench some of the year. He started some of the year. You don't know exactly all the things he can do and what he can't do. Now, I had an opportunity to see him as a high school player also, so I've got a little bit a longer look at him. But he's a guy who can shoot the ball at 7 feet. He can become a
just like that
shooter.
from way NBA range.
He can be an inside-outside player.
He's knocking down threes as a 7-footer.
He can protect the basket. He's got a good skill level.
Now, we're hearing this stuff about how the way he runs is one of the reasons why his stock has dropped. Can you explain that? How, as a scout, you're watching and how the way a guy runs has an impact on what you think about him?
It's not a smooth gait. There's a little bit of a rough spot in terms of how he runs. So you have to medically look at that and see if he's going to hold up over 82 games and have a long career.
Okay. Good answer on that question. Frank Kaminsky out of Wisconsin. Now, his stock jumped up big time in the NCAA tournament. 7-1, nearly 19 points, 8 rebounds, 2.5 assists a game. He's projected to go anywhere between 11, 15, again, right where you're expected to pick, Coach.
Well, again, he's one that we tried to get in. His agent wouldn't allow us to bring him in. He is the College Player of the Year. He's a very talented player. He's a little different than most of the big guys that we that we have seen in the last few years because, again, he's an inside-outside player. He can shoot the three, and he's got great moves around the basket. Agent wouldn't
let him come in because he thinks he's not going to be there at 12, correct? Didn't want to waste his time?
Yes.
Is that what we're getting?
Yes.
Okay.
Past, Enes Kanter had a similar situation, and that didn't work out very well. How concerning is that when these guys don't want to come in?
It doesn't concern us that much.
Okay.
Because we have a lot of tape we can look at. We have had the opportunity to get to know them, speak with them. Frank, we didn't have a chance to talk with in Chicago, but we do a great job with background information on these kids. 3 of the last 4 picks we haven't had in for a workout.
Okay. Well, here's a big you did work out. Trey Lyles didn't get a lot of time at Kentucky. So many good players on their front court. It was hard for him to get a chance, but there seems to be a lot of buzz about him. Could go higher than expected. Why is there so much buzz about Trey Lyles?
He's a good basketball player. And the thing at Kentucky this year, he started out playing the 3, but he's going to be a 4 in our league. Okay. So he got an opportunity to play more on the perimeter. He got an opportunity to experience playing on the perimeter. And as a 4 in our league, the way our league is going, 4s are playing more on the perimeter. So it puts him ahead of the curve of most 4s.
So you saw him outside of Kentucky. You saw him before he went to Kentucky. What did you think about him when he was outside of that situation?
Show you how wrong I can be. I thought when I watched Trey and watched Karl Anthony Towns with Hoop Summit, I thought Trey might become a better player.
Really?
But Karl has done a great job of improving his game. So I'm pretty high on Trey. I think he's going to be a good NBA player.
Okay, let's read between the lines right there. Thursday night.
Noted.
I know you're not going to say.
That's my own one-man opinion.
Kayvon Looney, a freshman out of UCLA, expected to be a mid-first-round pick. 6'9", 11.5 points, 9 boards a game last season. We got to watch him against the Utes. Your thoughts?
Kayvon has good skills. He's another one that can step out into the college 3 and shoot the 3, and he can also post up. He handles the ball well. He's a very good rebounder. And he does a good job defensively. He's got to get stronger. He's got to learn to play. Again, he's one that's really a young player in terms of experience. So he's got to get that, and he's got to learn to play a little bit harder.
All right, let's check out the guards.
No timeouts left. What are they doing? R.J. Hunter for 3. Go!
R.J. Hunter of Georgia State projected to go anywhere from 15, 17, all the way to 25th. You know, everybody was saying the way the Warriors played, everything's going to a 3-point game now, outside first, in second. You need a guy like this. You got to be impressed. He might be one of the best shooters in the first round.
He is a very good shooter, although he didn't shoot the ball well this year. You know, he's from Georgia State, which is a smaller school, so teams are kind of double teaming at times, so he didn't get a lot of open shots, but the kid can really shoot the ball.
And he's not afraid to shoot the 3. In his 3 years at Georgia State, averaged over 7 3-point attempts a game.
Well, it helps when your father's a coach also.
Yeah.
You know, you're allowed to shoot
long
those.
Leash, right?
But he can really shoot the ball.
Yeah.
So why did he struggle shooting the ball? You mentioned the double teaming. Was that because he's because obviously a very terrific player on a team that doesn't have a lot of depth? Was that the reason?
And that's one of the reasons. Sometimes because of who he is and what he means to the team, he has to shoot the ball a lot. He has to score a lot for them to win. They had another player on their team that was also a very good player for him, Ryan Harrell, who he brought in for a workout also. But he needs to score, so he's allowed to shoot a lot of balls. And sometimes the shot selection is not that great.
All right, real quick, you got a point guard, Dante Exum, but Cameron Payne's a guy that's up in that range, one of the hottest names in the draft. Your quick thoughts on him and why he's climbing on the boards?
Well, he's climbing because he's a pretty good player. And he's from a smaller school, so people didn't see a lot of him early, but he can really shoot the ball. He can handle the ball. He's got great floater game going inside, and he's going to get better and better.
All right, Walt Perrin, Jazz VP, player personnel. You get an OGO golf bag, travel bag, whatever you want. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
And final question, who are you going to choose?
Karl Anthony Towns.
Can we see the draft?